Hey, Mary Sheila here from BioYouth Labs. And today I want to talk more about bones and optimizing the nourishment that our bones get. And I want to talk about properly preparing food. And I'm just going to dive right into specifically beans. Beans are a really wonderful food. They are newer on the food scene in the sense that we started agriculturally growing them about 10,000 years ago, probably harvesting before then and realizing, wow, these are good, they're good nourishment, let's grow them, let's stay here, let's tend to them, right? Rather than our hunter-gatherer days. And over time, we've also had to learn how to properly prepare them so that they taste good. And I find a lot of times people don't eat them because they're like, oh no, I just get way too gassy from them. And that's true. If you don't prepare them correctly, then you're bound to have a lot of gas. But beans have a lot of great qualities. So beans have amazing fiber, and the fiber plays a few roles for the body. One is that it really feeds the microbiome. So beans are a great food that our microbiome has learned to flourish on. And the microbiome is the bacteria that line your gut and communicate in good ways with your brain. So it helps with your mood. It helps liberate vitamins and minerals from the food we eat so that we can get more out of our food. It also makes a lot of neurotransmitters in the gut, which are good for just everything working correctly and moving in a downward motion in our gut, and also helping us to feel good in our mind. So there's a lot that our gut or our microbiome does for us, and beans are a great source of nourishment for the microbiome. Another great thing about beans is the fiber. That's actually what does feed the microbiome, but the fiber of beans really helps to grab toxins that are coming into the GI tract to leave the GI tract. That's how we remove a lot of toxins from our body, and it binds to the fiber. So the toxins come in via our bile, and they bind to the fiber of the beans, and the beans are an excellent escort of getting those toxins out of the body. It does this for used up hormones, including cholesterol. So sometimes if things aren't moving along, we might be reabsorbing old cholesterol, and that might be contributing to high cholesterol levels, especially high oxidized LDL cholesterols. So fiber is critical for healthy elimination, healthy function, healthy microbiome of our entire gut. So beans are a great way to get it. The thing about beans is they are seeds. They are designed to grow another plant, not necessarily to be eaten by humans or critters and animals, right? So there's a lot of protection in that bean. This is the same thing with nuts and seeds and grains. So there's a lot of protection, and if we don't properly prepare it, that protection becomes kind of irritating to us. Hence, I'm gassy, I don't feel that good when I eat beans, I get bloated, right? So if you properly prepare them, you're sort of tricking the plant to think, oh, wait a minute, like I thought I was sprouting, so I am letting go of my phytates and my oxalates, and my lectins are lessening. So we're removing the anti-nutrients, and then we cook the beans. And another little trick is you cook them in a pressure cooker or an Instapot or whatever you have. Cook them in a pressure cooker. Not only is it like so quick and convenient, you could have beans in like 20 minutes, but it also lowers the lectin levels, which is another anti-nutrient. This is gentler on the gut, and also means we're going to get more of the vitamins, minerals, and all the nutrients from the beans rather than just eating them, throwing them in water and cooking them. They're going to take a long time, and they're going to be gassy. In my house, we love beans. And my daughter sometimes says, Mom, can we have beans tonight? And I'm like, no, sorry, we'll have them tomorrow. I'll soak them tonight and we'll cook them tomorrow. I personally soak them for 24 hours. I add a little acid in there. I pour like just a splash of vinegar or a squeeze of a lemon. And that lowers the pH. And when the pH is lower, I also kind of use warm water. I start with warm water and I throw the acid medium, lowers the pH, and that gets the phytates and the enzymes that are going to start sprouting that bean to kind of wake up and do their work. So then they grow the next day, they're a lot bigger. And sometimes you can even grow them to like a little tail. I usually soak mine for like 24 hours. Then I rinse them, and then I throw them in my Instapot or my pressure cooker, or sometimes my crock pot if I didn't, you know, now that I have Instapot, I use it more, but crock pot works great too. And then I just let them or cook for, I usually put it on custom for like 10 minutes on high pressure, and boom, it takes about 10 minutes to get to pressure, 10 minutes in high pressure, and then I have beans. So easy, so simple. And because I soak them, they're not going to be that gassy, and I'm going to get the vitamins and minerals and the proteins and the starches and everything from it, and the good fiber. So I definitely recommend, when you're thinking about bones, you want to think about properly preparing foods. And you can look at our ancestry, right? We didn't, like, you know, I know a lot of people aren't eating gluten anymore, and gluten and osteoporosis are kind of associated. So if you do have it, you want to look at your gluten intake. But we didn't just grow gluten or wheat and just start eating it raw, or, you know, cooking it or milling it and making it into tortillas. We actually fermented it. We fermented it for like a good 24 hours to make it more absorbable and digestible and less inflammatory and less allergenic. And we did that with a lot of our grains and beans and even nuts and seeds. So we need to kind of bring some of that proper preparation back, because it means we're going to get more of the nutrients. And as a simple example, I'll just say this. There's a little bird, and it's flying over there, and it finds a seed in the ground that just dropped, and it eats the seed, and then the next day it's over there, and it drops the seed in its poop, and that seed starts to grow, right? That's how seeds have evolved. They've like used animals to move them all around. Now, that seed used that little animal, that little bird, for a nice, warm, wet, moist environment going through its digestive tract. And so that little bird didn't get that much nourishment from the seed. Now, imagine the next day, there's a seed that drops, and there's dew maybe it drops in a leaf, and there's all this dew and wetness. So the seed sits there for 24 hours, and it starts sprouting. And now the little bird eats it. Well, guess what? That little bird is going to get a little more nourishment from that seed. So that's the same thing we can think of for ourselves. Oh, if I properly prepare, then I'm going to get a little bit more from this, right? And then that makes it easier sometimes if you're like, gosh, I haven't eaten beans in 20 years because they've never made me feel good. Maybe you can try it, and maybe it will make you feel good, right? So that's part of healing the gut. And bone health and just overall general health has a lot to do with a good, healthy gut. Like, gut health and good digestion is the key to longevity, right? So we have to be looking at all these little pieces of the puzzle. So I hope that's helpful. Go make some beans, and I'll see you in the next video.